on YouTube. So today we're going to be doing part 4 of the Astro base build. As you can see behind me, we got some amps and some power back here, and we're trying to make it look a little nicer. This video will just be going over a little bit of wiring and getting things installed, and sprucing up the back of this thing. So I didn't get all the content from yesterday when I was carpeting all this, but carpeting is pretty straightforward, and I'll show you a little more on the amp rack here as we go along. So stay tuned for the rest of the video, and let's get into it. All right, we'll get you guys up to speed here. So basically what we did yesterday was we finished running all of our power and ground runs from the front back here, and we're going to set up our SMD fuse holders on this fender for now until we finish trimming out the sides. We might move it around a little bit, but figured that was a good spot for everything to kind of flow in, and then we're going to bring them around and hook up power on the far end of the bank because our ground is on the short end of the bank. So that'll help evenly charge out the bank. That's what I tend to do with capacitors and batteries to help balance the bank. And then we're also going to wire up our amplifiers. So we're going to have tons of runs coming out, and we're just going to spread those across all the banks so we get even pull off the bank. We got our speaker wires. And then here's the amp racks. If you guys remember last video with these bars sticking out, we put a wood board across, and then we bolted down our amp racks. And I forget where Craig got these, but I think they're like a tool maker or one of those brands makes these amp racks. You've probably seen them on Facebook and stuff. I'll try to find out, put it in the description. But basically you can stack up to 4 amps, and it looks pretty cool. So we got the 4 DC 10Ks loaded up, and then now we have room set up for another 4 when the time comes. So I got 2 more bars. We'll be able to stack them to the roof and have tons of power. And then this is the SBC cock box, big boy version with the 8 channels, or actually 16 channels. So that's mounted in there with our Sky High Premium RCAs and all that good stuff. So there's our DC 10K. So they're backwards in here because the speaker wires need to be on this side and the power was going on that side. So that's where we're at there. All right, so check out some of the things we're going to be using to do the wiring today. First off is our big Sky High crimper. That thing is a lifesaver. Pretty much crimp any size down to 8 gauge, I believe, and really handy. Got our copper lugs for 0 gauge. Got a green and black heat shrinks. Got some more lugs. Here's all the bolts that go on the bus bars. Over here we have our OFC 0 gauge. We got 200 foot of this, or 150 foot actually. So there's those. Nice copper. Got some of those. It's all Sky High OFC. This is all I run in any of my builds is the Sky High. So good stuff. We're going to be doing black heat shrinks on green power wires, and we're doing green heat shrinks on black ground wires to kind of give some contrast to everything. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how to do lugs and the heat shrinks the way that they should be done. And they end up looking like that when they're done. Real clean. So let's go get into it. Alright, so another thing I forgot to mention is absolute must is to have a really good set of wire cutters. These ones I got from Home Depot, really heavy duty. They're like almost $25, but these definitely get the job done. I like to have a pair of tin snips too. These are good for little things like zip ties, so it's good to have a good nice set of cutters so you take good care of. So we get started, and what we're going to first do is we're going to wire from this fuse block all the way back behind the bank and connect on that end, like I explained earlier how I like to separate the incoming ground and incoming power across the bank, so you get that soaking through the bank, evens out the charge. So I'm going to be wasting a little bit of wire and getting the length, but that's the way I just want to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip and crimp one of my ends on my wires here, hook it up there, stretch it across the path I want it to take, figure out how long I want it, cut it to that end, and then we're good to wire up. So we'll go through that real quick. So you guys can see on the camera there, got my 0 gauge, got my wire cutters. I like to go back about 3/4 or 1 inch and then lightly grab and start spinning the wire around. And then that's how you strip them. And try not to hurt the copper too much. Sometimes you get a strand or two, but that won't hurt. So there's your raw end, and now you're gonna find yourself an open pack of these guys. And get close for this. So if you can see the end there, we stripped out back about 1 inch, give or take, roughly the length going into that lug. And I like to pinch the end and jam the terminal up into the bottom and then roll it in and then start pinching the top as I put it in. And most of the time, if you're good, you don't get any strands. I got 2 strands falling out, but I'm gonna leave that alone. So that's how I load my lug on. And then I'm weird, I like to have the letters pointing up with the lug. Now we're gonna go get our crimper and load it up in the crimper. So now we got it loaded up in the crimper. This thing's awesome. Just give it some muscle. And there's your fresh crimped lug set up. That ain't coming off. There's no way. Yep. So there's that. Hopefully you guys could see it. And then the last thing is get your handy old heat shrink. We're doing black on our powers just because some contrast. And these will fit over your lug like so. And then what I do is I'll also line these letters up. So all the letters are on the front. And then right where this crease happens on the lug is where I like to lighten the heat shrink to. So line it right up there. Then we'll take our heat gun. And then there's your nice end. So that's ready to wire up now. So now we're gonna get this placed in our fuse block here. So I'm gonna undo a nut for now and then just kind of put it in place. That's about where it's gonna end up. None of these are tightened down right now. Now I'm going to start running this along the path I want it to take. So we'll choose a clean way to go about doing that. Alright, quick update guys. Decided to carpet this left side of the van before I got all my wiring perfectly put in. Looks way better now. Eventually we'll get the floor done and this side too, but a little bit of contrast from going to that, from that to that. It's not perfect, but a lot of contours, so I think I did all right. So anyway, I'm gonna get the wiring hooked up here and keep making it look good. Alright guys, a little update. We've been working steady on Astro Base, doing a lot of little things. We'll go through it real quick. We're about to send it on its first journey on the trailer. So if we look back here, getting the Zamps finished up. Almost done with the wiring. Gotta clean it up, but we ran out of green, so we can't quite finish. So we're gonna go hit up John and get that ordered. And then that will finish off the wiring for the amplifiers. We got our SMD fuse holders ready to go. We're going to get the umbilical cord put together for the head unit outside. So we're going to do like a podium setup, and it's all being ported through this. So this is a 7-pin connector, some RCA connectors, so that we can get our signal and power and remotes outside. So you can see it's inside the van. So that's just be a plug-in. Then we'll be able to hold the stereo out here on the umbilical cord and do whatever we like. Interior hasn't changed much. Haven't done anything with it yet. I'm gonna take it out to my house and get the concrete poured here pretty shortly. We got this door sound deadened with some Vibraflex from Sundown. They sell their own stuff now apparently. Very solid. And it's only one layer, and then we put some Sky High over that, so it's doubled up. And then we got new regulators, so I put the regulator in this morning, so this is working. I just got to get the wiring done. So that's kind of what's going on in there. We'll be jumping onto sound deadening the roof and floor next, and all those little things while I wait on the concrete to set. So probably next video you should expect to see the concrete going in this thing. Get you one last look back here. Got our Sky High logo. And we're doing a little carpeting as we go. Still gotta do this side. You can see that's the before and after what it will look like. Big difference getting some carpet put in. Definitely. And we'll put a headliner. Make it look good. So we're gonna go get it out to my house today. So we're gonna load up on the trailer. And then we gotta finish dealing with what's on the roof here, because we're gonna be pouring concrete in the next, probably this week, hopefully. Just gotta clean off the roof and get it ready for transport. And then we also threw our rims on it for now. We will be getting a wrap. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you've seen kind of what the wrap's gonna look like. If you don't follow me on Facebook or Instagram, definitely go do so at Jeep and Base. That's the basically Facebook page and Instagram. Just search Jeep and Base and you'll find me. Or Craig at Astro and Base. This will be the Astro and Base. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at on the updates. We're gonna go load it up and show you guys the fun stuff with this big old truck here. All right, guys, we got the van loaded up here. Start the tie downs. You can see it looks kind of halfway decent. I don't know. We need to put the wrap on it. But that's his rig set up. So we're going to be learning the placement of the van on the trailer a little bit today, and then mostly after the concrete's done, we're going to go to my house to do the concrete. And we're talking about welding on some extra D-rings or something, so we can streamline the tie down process on this thing by the time we are ready. So that's where it's at. We're gonna take it home. Heck of the drive, mine. So if you guys haven't checked this one out, go check out some of my most recent videos. 612s. Anyway, we're gonna load it up.